I have just a 3-minute presentation prepared.
Hello, everyone. Hello, good evening. I am super excited. Listen, this is Monique Denton, founder and CEO of Sisters Inspire Sisters and Embrace Your Cake. And today, our volume 2, Sisters Inspire Sisters, Self-Love, Manifestation, and Abundance, has hit the Amazon bestseller list. That's right, in the self-help category. And if you know anything about the organization or these phenomenal women that were a part of this book, when I say that everyone, every author really poured their hearts into their stories, sharing their experiences, sharing their expertise, and really providing ways that you can really embrace self-love, that you can embrace abundance, and that you can manifest abundance from a holistic level in your life. So we're just going to keep this thing moving. I want to thank everyone for joining in. Listen, we are still doing the Amazon bestseller campaign. So I am going to constantly paste the link where you can download the book and purchase it from Amazon in the chat. If you have any questions, join in. And please make sure that you like and that you share this video with everyone. We are looking to make it to #1. We are currently at #2 in the self-help category. Let me just introduce, we have 2 of our phenomenal authors on the call, and we have Miss Tamisha Isaac and we have Miss Yvonne. Tamisha, I want to just start it off with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your amazing chapter and why everyone should purchase this book?
Absolutely. So my chapter is predominantly focused on self-love, manifestation, and abundance, because those are the 3 things that I use in my personal life to get me through a series that I was going through. I was called it the drought series in 2018, 2017, after losing my job and becoming public as a woman living with HIV. For me, I needed to find myself. I needed to reevaluate who Tamisha was, what she wanted, what she needed for her to show up as the authentic woman that I am now, that you see before you. And the reason why you should purchase that book is because not only am I a part of it, but there's so many other women sharing their stories of lived experience and how they turned their purpose and made it into a passion and now a purpose. Okay, so definitely get the book, because you will learn from so many different lived experience, and maybe one of them can relate to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So I am going to actually really quickly, so we're going to blink for a minute because I'm changing the Wi-Fi that I'm on. And then what we're going to do is come right back with Miss Yvonne. So don't tune out. Just stay tuned. I'm just going to change our connection and make sure we have a stronger connection. It looks like we're okay. So I'm going to leave it alone for right now. Yvonne, okay. So 2 chapters in this book, 2 chapters in this amazing book, and just, absolute wonderful stories. I don't want to give it away, but if you could, so tell us a little bit about your first chapter, and then, tell us who you are, where you're from, and then, let the audience know what they can look forward to.
Thank you so much, Monique. I'm from Canada. I'm from Saskatchewan, which is right in the center, the prairie provinces. And I wanted to be part of this anthology because I've met you, I've met the ladies that are authors, and I just find them to be so inspiring. And I just wanted to be a part of this. I just find, and I've read the books that you mailed me, the previous versions of the previous anthologies, and they're just fantastic. I can't say enough about them. I read them every day, and they're part of my morning routine. They get me going, they get me started and motivated in my day. And I just wanted to be part of this. So you'd like me to tell you a little about my
Yes.
first question? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, I wanted to start by asking a question. So I thought, in writing this, I thought, how have we become the resilient, successful individuals that we are today? And in answering this, I thought it's very important to look at how God has shaped our lives by placing key people in our path to lead us, to support us, and to teach us valuable lessons along the way. When I contemplate all the gratitude I feel for all the blessings that I enjoy today, I'm reminded of the primary people who made personal sacrifices which served to enrich my life. And now, because of their contribution and sacrifice, I enjoy the privilege of being able to treasure my life and share my gifts, knowledge, and blessings with others. So in my first chapter of this anthology, I lovingly acknowledge my grandmothers, both immigrants to Canada, who lived through great hardship in order to provide a better life for their families. My maternal grandmother left Germany as a young girl just as Hitler was rising to power. And my paternal grandmother left Kiev, Ukraine to escape a life of poverty and start fresh on a homestead in Canada. So through harsh living conditions, they persevered, survived, and thrived, my ancestors. They relied upon their faith and strong family values to bring them through bitterly cold winters, poverty, and the Great Depression. I commend their fortitude and strength of character as they persevered and raised their children to be strong, self-sufficient, resilient people. And in recognizing their efforts, I feel inspired to persevere through hardship and lead my family with the example that they provided for me. So that was my first chapter.
Absolutely. I mean, just the story alone, and when we reflect on the shoulders that we've stood on, right, that have really poured into us and helped to mold us into the women, the people that we are today, it's just amazing, because we look at some of the things that we are currently going through in this day and time, and you think about some of the things that they went through, and it's like, well, goodness, if they can really go through and make it and be successful through all of those hardships, we can do the same thing. And that really helps us to focus on, abundance and manifesting abundance from a holistic approach, not just finances, not just wealth, but also living a healthy lifestyle, supporting others, and serving. So tell us a little bit about your second chapter.
Okay, well, my second chapter, I wrote about some of the lessons I've learned through my relationship with my husband, Les, who just passed away prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. So in acknowledging Les, I thought in writing, whenever someone passes away, I find myself thinking and searching, trying to remember my single most beautiful memory of that person. So this memory defines for me the essence of who they were while on earth. It represents their greatest influence on me in the time that I spent knowing them. I believe that each person on earth is here to have a certain impact on the people they are blessed with in their life. We're each here to leave our mark, to make the world a better place, and to teach an important life lesson to those closest to us. I feel very privileged to share my most valued life influences, lessons, and memories with you. Also, I wish to share some of my life's blessings as we launch Sisters Inspire Sisters, Anthology #2, into the universe. So excited about this.
Wow, thank you so much. So I am going to tell everyone a little bit about my chapter. So in my chapter, what I share a lot about my journey to self-love. So for a long time, I didn't realize that I didn't totally encompass or embrace self-love. We all go through different things in our childhood, and it could be something simple. It can be a simple comment that someone makes. It can be a friend at school. It can be a family member or a relative that might say something and not realizing how much it impacts you and how much you carry these things with you. So for me, there were a lot of issues that I dealt with in terms of low self-esteem and low confidence, having challenges with my body image, and having challenges with my complexion. And really, I had taken on a role in my family, raised by a single mom. I'm the oldest of two, and really taken on a role of, sort of like a mother role. So I grew up in that latchkey generation, and I gave so much, and I poured out so much, and I did so much that I didn't realize all of these things carried on through my adult life. So I wasn't used to receiving. I was only used to giving. So giving, 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 and finally getting to a point where I had to say, you know what, Monique, okay, that's enough. You have to learn how to pour into yourself. And it really created not a point of where I didn't love myself at all, because I did, but I didn't get to the point where I was at complete self-love, totally happy and embracing who I am and who I was. So I share in my chapter this experience that I had as I had gotten older. And it was after I had got engaged, and I was literally in Walmart, Yvonne, with my mom, and I had a Walmart, I call it the Walmart breakdown. So I literally talk about this breakdown and everything that happened. I'm sitting in Walmart just having a meltdown, boo-hooing, and I'm like, what is going on with me? And then finally things start coming together, and I'm like, you know what? You've been wearing a mask for a long time. You've been successful at work, but there's been areas in your life where you haven't dealt with, that you haven't healed from, and you're not at a point of complete happiness. And it was during that time that I also realized, if I was feeling this way at my age and at this time, I knew there were other women that might have had similar experiences, or might have felt, didn't completely have self-love for themselves, didn't believe in abundance, didn't believe that we are deserving of abundance, which we are, didn't really embrace the fact that we're all uniquely and wonderfully made. And when I got it, I was like, oh no, there's some other sisters out there. There's some other women out there that really need to know that there's some things that we have to deal with. There's some things that we have to, there's some things that we have to face. And a lot of it is also self-awareness, really being aware of who we are, how we show up in the world, but then how do we show up to else? So I kind of unpacked this whole Walmart breakdown in my chapter. And then I get to the self-love, self-acceptance, and really being in a place where you feel that you are fully deserving of everything this world has to offer. And then we also have a declaration. I talk about my journey to embracing my cake. And the cake stands for confidence, attitude, kindness, and excellence. So when I say there are some really good gems, and I know that that's part of the reason why we're moving up in the self-help category, because this book is all about self-help. It's all about awareness. It's all about looking within and looking at those experiences and everything that you've gone through in your life. And like you said, looking at family members and ancestors and whose shoulders we're standing on to really get us to where we are today. The authors in this book totally pour their hearts into the stories, brought expertise, and really brought concrete strategies on what we can do to get to a place of true self-love, abundance, and manifestation. So I have another question for you, because we've talked a lot. I know our first call, we were probably on for almost an hour. We had a great, a great conversation. And I know that that's when we really, really connected. But I see I see the strength in you. And I know that you say that you have family members and you have others that have poured into you. But I also see you being a person that has poured a lot into others. So when you think about, yourself in this self-love space, just you, how do you feel that you were able to get there? And then out of some of the things that you've gone through over the last couple of years.
I've gone through so much in the last couple of years. I think, when I look at myself and what I'm proud of, I think what really comes to mind for me is looking back at my reactions to difficult situations. And when I've been, sometimes you get to a crossroads in your life and, you find yourself having to choose between doing this thing that you want to do or this thing that you have to do.
Right.
I don't know. I think doing the right thing and then just looking back without having regrets, I know things sometimes didn't turn out maybe the way I wanted to, but I did the best with what I knew at the time. And my intention was always true, honorable, purposeful intention. And, I think that you move ahead in life step by step, slow and steady wins the race. And if you just kind of look toward, doing the right thing, look at your end goal. And I think on a regular basis, I would sit before bed with a cup of tea and look at maybe a difficult situation that was coming ahead of me and thinking, okay, what do I want to happen out of this situation? What's my focus going to be and what's my priority? And then focus on that when you're pulling yourself through something. And then if you do that, you find that everything does work out okay. And then you also have to put your faith in God too, because you can't control everything. There's so many things that happen that, God has a plan and they happen the way they're supposed to. And there's really nothing you can do to change it because what's meant to happen is going to happen.
Right.
So, it's a combination of things. It's a combination of what is your focus, doing the right thing, and then putting faith in God so that the outcome is going to be the best outcome. And if you just do that, then you can look back on your life and you can say, I did okay. And then I find as I get older too, I speak the truth. I speak my truth to myself and to others. I've learned to just become less conscientious of what people think and thinking about my purpose. What is it that I want to come out of this? I don't care what people think about me. The truth is going to come out anyway. So,
Right. Love it. I love it. Yes.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So you can speak your truth in a way that's respectful and kind, and then when you look back, you say, I was true to myself. So.
Right. So you said some key things there, and that is faith, focus, and also being true to yourself. And one of the things that I always say is we can never say the wrong things to the right people, right? If it's the right people, they will hear us, they'll understand us. Everyone is not going to connect. Everyone is not going to like, everyone is not going to accept you, but that's really none of our business. That's how I look at it. For those that don't like or that don't agree, that's their business. It's none of mine. And it really helps to manage my focus and keep me on track. And then when you talked about faith and focus, when different things come up, so we'll say challenges and adversities, and you're right, things that especially when it comes to things like illness, and health conditions. And I've experienced that with family members, and I experienced it with my mom, who I recently lost this year. But like you said, there's nothing you can do about it. You can pray your way through it. And if you focus on the things that you can do or how you can really manage how you deal with the situation, it makes it a lot better. And then, of course, the faith part, having faith through everything and knowing that. Yeah.
It's funny what you pray for. Sometimes if someone is very sick, like, for example, with my husband being, terminally ill, in the beginning, I was praying that he would get well. And then I thought to myself, well, God has a will for everybody. So maybe it's not God's will that he get better. So then, okay, so I keep praying. And then what are you praying for? So then I realized as I went along, what I was praying for would be that he wouldn't be alone when he passed, that the family would be able to cope and accept, what was going to happen, that we would become closer as a family. All of these things that maybe you're not aware of in the beginning, that this is actually what you want, right? So you pray thinking you want this person to recover and get better. If that's not in God's plan, so then what is going to come of it then is that you are going to become closer as a strong family. And then, your character is going to be stronger because our hardships shape us and make us the experienced, resilient, strong women that we are today. So then we can maybe help someone else through a hardship that we went through. So
Wow. That is so, I mean, listen, if you think you're getting something on this broadcast, you need to get the book and read Yvonne's chapters, okay? Not just one. There are 2 chapters in there that are absolutely amazing and really speaks to how you're speaking now, Yvonne, and the things that you're saying. And I hope that someone in the audience really connected with what you said in terms of putting things in perspective, especially when you're in a situation, you're dealing with someone that has an illness, and it might be a terminal illness. And as much as we want them to stay, right? As much as we want them to stay, to think about refocusing your prayers on, okay, how is this going to impact the family? You know, would help us get through this situation, help us become stronger in the long run. And that goes back to speaking about those outcomes and how you manage those outcomes. So even redirecting and different ways to cope with the things that we can't change. So I want to thank you so much for that. I know Tamisha is offline. So listen, what Yvonne and I want to leave you with, and I'm going to post the link again in the chat, is that Sisters Inspire Sisters Volume 2 is currently on sale on Amazon. You can go to Amazon, purchase it, and you can download it. Listen, we are at number 2 in self-help on the bestsellers list, and we are working our way to number 1, and we need your support. Like, share, purchase the book, and guess what? Volume 3 is right around the corner. 50 phenomenal women. So that's, if you are looking to participate, or if you would like to participate, please visit sistersinspiresisters.com. I want to thank everyone who's already purchased the book, who's already downloaded it. I want to thank all of our phenomenal authors for their contributions, and again, for pouring out their hearts, for their support. Yvonne, thank you for showing up all the time, showing up and really bringing value to the project. I'm just glad that you are a part of the network. You are our first international member, which really makes it special. And just, you know, really embracing the sisterhood and all of us that are part of the network. Thank you again. Listen, everyone, go to Amazon, Sisters Inspire Sisters Volume 2, Self-Love, Manifestation, and Abundance. You can purchase the copies now. It's on sale. Purchase, download, and share. And if you're interested in being part of the Sisters Inspire Sisters Network, please visit our website, sistersinspiresisters.com, and listen, get on board. You know, our stories and our challenges and our adversities and our successes and our wins, they happen to us, but they're not just for us. They're for us to share and empower other women. And in the world that we're living in today, there might not be a woman that's next door waiting to hear from you. There might not be a woman in your community or in another state or just in another neighborhood. There might be a woman in another country that's waiting to hear specifically from you, your voice, your story, your impact that will help her to be empowered and to be motivated and to move on. This is Monique Denton. Thank you again, Sisters Inspire Sisters. Yvonne, thank you. We are super excited about heading to number 1 on the Amazon bestseller list. We want to wish everyone a great evening. Good night.
Monique, thank you for your leadership, and I just love you.
I love you. This is what I do with my children and grandkids. They're like, oh, I love you. I'm like, no, I love you. So we go back and forth, but I totally feel the same. Thank you so much, Yvonne.
I'm so proud of this book, and we're going nowhere but up, you know, so.
Exactly. And you know what? The other thing I'm going to say is that it's funny because I chose categories, but when Amazon, we were waiting a couple of days for the book to be approved. So as Amazon goes through and categorizes it, the fact that they put us in self-help and then they put us in spirituality. And at one time, we were also categorized in a religion category. And that is because there was so much faith poured into this book, you know, so much focus on faith and prayer. and our spirituality to really help move us forward. So I think that's another one of the pluses with the book. So again, thank you. And I will definitely, we'll be talking. Listen, everyone, the link is in the chat. We're also going to be sharing on social media. Go ahead over to Amazon, purchase the book, Sisters Inspire Sisters, Volume 2, Self-Love, Manifestation, and Abundance, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Okay, good night.
Good night.